Welcome back. This God My Ministries. This your man Tim with another episode of Side Note. Today's topic, the scale of righteousness. The end from the beginning. Did you finish? So a scale is what we use to weigh things. What's lighter, what's heavier, or if it's an even balance, right? The Bible say God hate an uneven balance and or a false scale. So why is that? If I'm buying gold and you bring me 3.5 grams of gold, but my scale falsely reads it as 3 grams of gold, I just cost you $20. If you bring me 1,500 grams of gold and my scale falsely reads it as 1,000 grams, you've just been deceived out of $20,000. See, he who is faithful in little things, that he is also faithful in great. And he who is deceitful in little things is also deceitful in great. And this was happening. A lot of us are wearing our lives on false scales, period. Ooh, you heard that Mrs. Jones caught Elder Jones watching porn. Girl, and he supposed to call himself a man of God. But let somebody find out your best friend cheating on her husband. You don't even know what she going through, so don't judge her. But in your mind, the thought of adultery is greater than the act, huh? And if Mr. Jones is supposed to be an elder in the church and he battling with lust, he can't be a man of God, right? So maybe the battle here for Elder Jones is not overcoming lust, but instead it's a lesson of overcoming self-reliance, overcoming self-dependence, and God has allowed him to become engaged in a battle with his own self-righteousness. But what if in Elder Jones' heart, he really don't want to do these things? Behind closed doors, he really trying to beat this addiction. Next time I have these thoughts, I'ma pray. Next time I have these thoughts, I'ma read my Bible. But yet Elder Jones finds himself in the same old predicament again and again. Why? Because we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against spirits and principalities and wickedness and rulers in high places, right? So God trying to show him it's not by your power nor by your might that you'll overcome these things, but it's by my spirit. Now, while you still may be falsely judging Elder Jones from the outside, because you can't see what's in the inside, God may still be calling Elder Jones his, because Elder Jones may have found favor in God's sight, because contrary to popular belief, favor is fair.
How, Sway?
I chose you before the foundations of the earth, Ephesians 1:4. I'm the Ancient of Days, and way back in the old days, I called out things that still ain't even happened yet. See, I knew you before I created you. And those I knew, I predestined to be just like my son Jesus. And those I predestined, I called. And those that I called, I justified. And those that I justified, I glorified. So favor is fair. You just don't understand the how or the why. So if you say my God is just, then how favor not going to be fair? How, Sway? Now let's look at David. David, a man after God's own heart. David slept with another man's wife. David then killed that man. Then David married that man's wife. Then David had a baby with that man's wife. But David, a man after God's own heart. How, Sway? So David is a man after God's own heart. That means he's coming after God's heart. He's chasing after God's heart, right? And he want to do right by God, but he keep falling short. But he convinced that nothing can separate him from the love of God. So he keeps coming back to God immediately. And faith is counted as righteousness because we're saved by grace, not by works. Amen. Nothing can separate me from the love of God. Those are Paul's words, right? So let's look at Paul. So Paul, former life, he was a murderer. And he wasn't just a murderer, he was a murderer of the Christians. So, the Christians was judging him like he definitely ain't no man of God. But at the same time, God was calling Paul his. And Paul, this former murderer of the Christians, ended up dying for the gospel. And we know no greater love have a man than to give up his own life for another. So God knew who Paul was while they were still judging who he is. So the just walk by faith, not by sight, right? But we judge by who the fastest, who the strongest, who the most popular, who the best looking, who the most talented, who did what right, who did what wrong. But these are all false scales because it's not by might nor by power, but by my spirit. The race is not given to the swift nor to the strong, but to he that endureth to the end. So it's not about who finishes first because I'm not racing against you. That's why I got my own lane. But the question will be, did you finish? See, on the scale of righteousness, he already know who I am because he judged my end from the beginning. This God Man Ministries. This your man SíDəN. Comment, like, subscribe, share. Let me know what y'all think. And remember, if it ain't God's judgment, it ain't judgment. James 4:12. I love y'all.
My ministries, my God, the my ministries, ministry, divinity of the Trinity, this energy that friends of me, wondering what get into me.